There were conflicting messages today about the state of Britain's economy and just how deep the recession will be.
On one hand, there were signs of recovery for the housing market and good news on high street sales. On the other, though, a serious jump in unemployment.
Daisy McAndrew is in Peterborough this evening. Daisy, can you help us make sense of all this?
Well, those conflicting messages are even more conflicting if you come somewhere like Peterborough. I've spent the day talking to local businessmen, estate agents, who really are sending the message that things are looking up, and that's where the confusion comes. In fact, the estate agents here in East Anglia are the most confident of all, saying they've got the most number of new inquiries. But nationwide, the figures are pretty good as well. Today's figures showing that 41% of chartered surveyors saying in the last month they've had an increase in demand. Then again, when we come to retail figures today, in April of this year compared to April of last year, nationwide, those figures are up 6.3%. However, if you put into that the fact that April was very sunny and last year it was very gloomy, if you put into it the fact that April had Easter in it this year and it didn't last year, you go some way to explaining those figures. And then you come down to earth with a crash when you look at the unemployment figures, up a whopping 12.4% from January this year. That takes the figures up to 2.2 million, and as any economist will tell you, that figure is only going to rise.
About 250,000 people lost their jobs in the last 3 months, according to one of them, which is very, very high indeed. 2.2 million people unemployed. That's probably going to be well over 3 million this time next year, so very bad news. And for as long as the economy is growing slower than it should do, people will be losing their jobs.
But I'm afraid the way to make sense of all these figures is just to point out that, in fact, yes, retail figures are less awful than they've been, and the housing market looks to be less awful than it has been. But still, over the next few months, those industries will continue to contract. They will continue to lose jobs. And as Alan Clark was saying there, we will almost certainly see 3 million unemployed, or even 3.5 million in the next year or so.